Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with Remax Oceanside and MakeMaineYourHome.com. In this week's episode of the Make Maine Your Home podcast, I got my brother Kelly Schauf with me. In previous podcasts, you've probably seen me talk to him about his RV trip that he did. And the last time I talked to him was back in July, which was like right before he was done with his year-long trip. So I'm going to kind of do the final chapter here and talk to him about like the rest of his trip and then what it's been like since he's been home. So let's do this. All right, guys, I'm here with my brother. Good to see you again, man.
What's up, man? It's great to be here.
So, you've been back since August 1st, pretty much, is when you came back from your RV trip.
Yes.
And, you know, now that he got back into home and Maryland and all that stuff, he's kind of been talking to me about, like, hey, we should do this for your podcast, and we should do this video, because Kelly does my videos for me. And so finally I said, you know what, man? Flying you up to Maine. We're going to make a weekend out of it. So here he is. Flew him up to Maine, and this is only a business trip. We are having no fun, though. We've had no fun while he's here. You got that?
No fun.
All right. So we'll jump right in. We'll talk about. So last time you and I saw each other was Mom's birthday.
Yes.
We both flew down. We surprised Mom.
Yes.
And then we did kind of like a quick catch up on your RV trip.
Yep.
And then so after that, you were really only on the road for a couple more weeks, and then you got home.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those last couple weeks. You know, after I left Florida, we both left Florida. Mm-hmm. You were what? St. Louis was?
Yeah, we had parked in St. Louis. Grace had left Minnesota to go to Boston like 4 days earlier. Than me coming down.
Yeah.
And then I drove the boys from Minnesota to Iowa, then to St. Louis.
Yeah.
And as she was coming in, I was going out.
Oh,
and
that's right.
So the last podcast was us being in Florida.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, hey, Grace, how are you? Okay, there's the RV, there's the kids. See you later.
Yeah. And the kids went to bed with me and woke up with Mom.
Yeah.
So I went back to St. Louis. They spent a bunch of time in St. Louis. I think they went to the Arch. They got to see a whole bunch of different stuff that I wish I would have seen. They tried some food they said was unbelievable. I think it was barbecue, whatnot.
Nice.
So we left St. Louis. Let me think about this for a second. So we went to Louisville. So Louisville, as they call it.
That's how they say it.
Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we went to a restaurant that we saw on Food Network when we were in Yosemite a month before called Mussel and Burger.
Yeah.
The Mussel and Burger Bar. And we saw it and I said, we got to try. There was like a burger that was like a Chilean burger or Argentinian burger and then some dessert that they no longer sold, but we had the burger. It was delicious. And they loved the fact that we did social media, so they were taking pictures of us and we were taking pictures of them and they posted about us and our trip. So that was...
Oh, that's very cool.
That was cool, yeah.
So there's a nice little plug if you're ever out in... Where was it? Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky, yeah. The Mussel and Burger Bar.
Nice.
There's a couple locations there, but they also had...
Are they all ripped? Are they all muscle?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like mussels.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Like clams.
I should know that.
Yeah. So Mussel and Burger Bar, but then they had I'm trying to think of it was like Muhammad Ali's museum or like the Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the cooler.
That's in Louisville.
Yeah, because that's where he grew up. Yeah, he's from Louisville, cool. Kentucky.
Yeah, nice.
So we did that, and that was neat to be down there. And then from Louisville, we went to Nashville.
Nice.
And it's funny because when we first left Florida to go back to the West Coast, and we talked about in this last video, we were outside of Memphis. So that's when we got to see like Stax and Sun Records and all that stuff. And then we came back around the entire country and went to Nashville. Nice.
Yeah.
So
nice.
We went to Nashville and that was fun. I'm trying to think of what we did in Nashville. We did go to eat we went downtown and that's a big party central, so tons of people, all kinds of great music. They have phenomenal music. Their food's great. And we stopped in this one place that was down the street from the campground, and the waiter comes up to us. He's this big guy, big beard, looks like a mean guy. Takes our order and then goes up on stage, grabs a guitar and starts performing while he's waiting on us.
So his waiter
and a musician.
He's probably the owner too.
Yeah, exactly. But that's apparently how Nashville is with music. Like it's like the like New York or L.A. for country music.
Yeah.
So all these performers come in, and like even when that's a shtick at different restaurants that we found.
Right.
That they'll perform while they're
it's
amazing.
So they're making the money with the waiting and
and they're good. Like the guy was good.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So that was cool. So Nashville was cool, and then we went to Dollywood.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic.
My friend Matt loves Dollywood.
Oh, he's one of the main reasons why we went.
Yeah.
And then I think my wife had heard about it, and the kids just deserved it, because at that point we'd already been on the road for so long again, just like bopping from place to place. Great places, but it was an amusement park, and it was near the end of the trip, so we were like, you know what, let's do the full thing.
Right.
Let's
have a good time.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the Disney World, like a country Disney World. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it was it was great. People were, super friendly. They had the park that's like the rides, roller coasters, and all that kind of stuff. And then they had a water park. And I'm telling you, man, being on the road and all that stuff, I got in that lazy river. I could have sat in that thing for 24 hours.
Just lay there.
Oh, yeah, right in the tube and just floating around. Well, because, yes, we might have talked about it in the last video, but I don't know. But I popped out my MCL on my knee.
Oh,
remember that? My knee was all messed up. So when I came to Florida, it was like pretty fresh. And so my knee was still messed up. So when I got in that lazy river in Dollywood, that was perfect. Yeah. But the kids did some rides. Both boys conquered some fear with some rides, which was cool. So
nice.
But then we went down to Atlanta, or outside of Atlanta, and we stayed at the Stone Mountain Campground. And apparently there's like the Mount Rushmore of the Confederacy that they have like carved into the rock as like old Confederate soldiers. So there's all this like political down there that's not so political, but people that found out that we went there, they were like, what do you mean you stayed in that? Because it's all the politics, and I got it. We didn't know. We just look at campgrounds. Like a lot of times we're just on Google, picking out campgrounds. So that was kind of wild. And we visited a friend of Grace, an old high school friend of Grace's, her family in Atlanta. And then we went down around the mountains, because we didn't want to go through the mountains with the beast. And we went up to the Charlotte area and saw Dave, who we grew up with in Kenmore. So that was great.
I've actually been to Charlotte a few times on trade shows, years ago and stuff. Charlotte's a pretty cool town.
Great city, And he's far enough outside of the city where we avoided it completely. But he was.
I saw Michael Jordan in Charlotte once.
Did you really?
Rode an elevator with him.
Didn't he? He like.
He's about my height. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Shoot. I was gonna say you're a little taller than me. I'm like the size of a quart of milk.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So Charlotte, but we didn't go to the city. We just hung out with Dave, and then we went up to Richmond and stayed with friends of ours there.
So now you're getting real close to home there.
That was the last stop.
Richmond's only like, an hour from you?
Two hours?
Okay.
2 hours, yeah. And to have a 2-hour drive on this whole trip, like we were usually doing 4 or 5. Yeah. We wouldn't do like 8 or 9 or 10. We did that in the beginning when we first came to Maine.
Yeah.
It's typically we're like 4 or 5, but to pop off 2 hours is like nothing.
Right.
But we also, it's friends of ours that had this log cabin in the middle of nowhere. There were like guns and hatchets, and I have 2 sons, so they just went nuts about that stuff,
I mean, who doesn't bring guns and hatchets on a vacation? I mean, why not?
Yeah, so we were like running around the property shooting like hillbillies. And just sky pops.
Wesley Weber.
Exactly. Come on, let's go hunting. So that was a lot of fun. Well, that was also really good friends of ours that we know from Maryland, so that almost felt like we were home.
Right. Sure.
And we stayed with them for a few days, and that was great to wind down. And then we packed up the thing for the last time, man, and just driving that 2 hours home. It ended up being a completely gorgeous day. I think it was like 75 degrees, sunny. Rolled into our friend's neighborhood that lived about a mile from our house. We had showed up a couple days earlier than the end of the month, so our tenants were still in the house, so we couldn't go home yet.
Right.
But we parked right where we had parked the RV before we left the house, so we literally parked right where we started.
Isn't that funny?
I'm going to tell you honestly, every single one of us cried. All of our friends cried.
When you pulled in.
We cried. Yeah. The kids cried. The kids were hugging each other, their friends. It was pretty funny. But it's we were gone for a whole year, and we went through so much stuff, and then coming back to home put like in an instant it put everything in perspective.
Right.
I mean that was what was crazy.
Right. It's like the whole year kind of just rushed right through.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And Grace and I still talk about it, but like at that, when we left, I mean, I was terrified.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I mean, we were pulling out of the driveway or pulling out of the street, and I was like, okay, there's no turning back now.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even driven maybe 30 miles in the thing, and now it's like 20,000 miles.
Yeah.
So it was like feeling like all that, accomplishment too. So it was pretty cool.
Now, what day did you pull in? I mean, because I know you had, I think your tenants in the house, which we'll talk about in a minute, they had it until August 1st, right? Or July 31st?
July 31st, the end of July 31st, right?
So you didn't pull in on the 31st, right? Didn't you?
No.
You're right, because that's where you parked at your friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah, we figured, so we right near the end of the trip, I mean, the trip by that point, it was so off the rails, like as far as planning, like we were just planning it as we were going. So we might plan like a month ahead of time or something like that, or sometimes just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But when we started planning the end of it, I was like, well, we might as well just pull in early. And then it gives us a couple of days. We're not going to be in the house yet, but it'll give us a couple of days. Like I can double check with the storage unit and the movers and anything that we need to do that we can do. Yeah, and we'll just stay at our friend's house. And we did. We just stayed at our friend's house or slept in the RV. I think we went back and forth.
Yeah.
Because the weather was so nice. So, so we had a couple of days. And I talked to the tenant and let her know that I was in town again and stuff like that. So.
Right.
But that was a really easy transition. She had moved out. And lives locally still because she was moving to the area originally from California. And then as soon as we got in the house, there's something about moving in. I didn't think it would make it more complex, but there's something about moving your stuff back in the house and emptying the RV.
Right.
So that's all the stuff that's the important stuff that you've been traveling with for a whole year, plus you have all the other crap, so it was kind of like mixing it all together. And like I said, I didn't think it would be complex, but for some reason it just made everything so much more complex.
Right.
It took us like 3-4 days to empty the RV.
Right.
I was like, we have that much crap on this thing? Like, how did it fit? So, yeah.
So how was, now let's kind of transition into, just coming home in general. I mean, I know you're home now, you're staying at a friend's house.
Yep.
I mean, geez, it had to be weird. First off, maybe for like the kids seeing their friends again, you guys seeing all your friends. I mean, it must have been tough to say, okay, who are we gonna see and all that stuff. Was everybody just like bum rushing you, or you guys actually had a big party though, didn't you?
Yeah. So our friends that were home, Jennifer and Ethan, and their kids, like we hang out with each other all the time.
Right.
Like, I mean, we're with spending a lot of time with each other. So they said, hey, when you come back, if you're coming back on this day, and it happened to be like a Saturday we were coming back, or a Friday, I think it was like a weekend, she's like, oh, no, it was a Sunday. Let's have a party. And I said, okay. And she goes, here, I'm just going to send you an invite. Just send it out, whoever you want to invite, and we sent it out. And I don't think we sent it out far and wide, but like there was probably like 30 people that showed up.
That's a good party.
So we got to be able to see a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be great because, it's like, hey, rather than like having to schedule time to see everybody, it's like, let's just do it all at once.
Oh, we've been home for 2.5 months. We're still doing that.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure out when we're going to do dinners with people and stuff.
Who haven't I seen?
Yeah.
I mean, geez, the boys must have been like thrilled to see some of their friends, right?
They're out of their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's still a degree of that, just they're happy about it. My oldest, just started high school. And it's to go from being on an RV and homeschooled for a year,
right,
and not have the structure of school, and then start a new school, especially a new phase like high school.
Yeah,
he's like, he's going from whatever time 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. throughout the school week. Loves it.
Right.
Gets up, wants to go again. And it's not
it's not funny. Yeah, because that's one thing I was going to ask you too. It's a good kind of segue into it.
Yeah.
Did he have to take like tests or something when he got back? I mean, how did that work? Or is that a question for Grace?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, Grace is definitely the educator, and
at my house, I'd have to ask my mom. I don't know.
Yeah. No, she's the educator. I help with stuff. I was a helper, while we're on the road with that kind of stuff. Mostly because she is an educator. She's been a professor, before. So, and basically what the county wanted us to do, because it's all county mandated, is that they needed us to put together a portfolio. And we had to come to them with a portfolio to show everything that we had done with the kids. And Grace went way overboard, with this. Like, I'd even tell her, like, babe, you don't need to, show this much. But it was so beautifully done. Like, I'm sure that the people that she met with were living the, going through the trip with us, living vicariously as she's going. She had maps that showed the trips.
And that's what she submitted to them?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Like everything. Like every place we went, all the museums we went to, all the stuff, what they learned, what we talked to them about, the context of things. Like,
isn't that funny?
It was amazing, yeah. And their perspective on stuff, you can tell. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like for them to be around some kids, because sometimes kids will say something and they'll be looking at us like, are they... Like they just don't know.
Yeah.
So they're plugged in more than most.
That's awesome.
Trip, so
that kind of got them going on school now.
Yes.
So we'll kind of backtrack for a minute here.
Yeah.
Because you had a tenant in your house for a whole year.
Yes.
And I'm sure that had to be at least a little bit stressful.
It's very stressful.
Because you think like, hey. It's all fun and good to go on this trip, but
yes,
you got somebody at your house that, you don't really know that well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, what's going to happen when I come home? Is my house going to be destroyed?
Right.
Now, we don't have to get into a ton of details. I mean, because I know the blanket answer here that, it could have been a whole lot worse. And I think overall she probably left your house in pretty good condition.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
It's never the condition that like you would have it in day to day.
Yeah.
So what was that like kind of getting in the house? Because it took like about a week or so for you guys to get back in the house.
It took us a while.
Just to kind of get it back into shape.
Well, it's the first thing that Grace and I noticed, like after being back in the house for a couple of days, is that we were like, have you ever left a place and come back to the same place again?
That's true.
I've always moved from one place to another.
That's true.
And I was like, and we thought about it. Neither one of us. So
because you moved out.
Moved completely out,
and now you're moving back
and
in.
then came back in, right?
Yeah.
So we realized that we had never done that before. So that part of that was fun. No, our tenant was fine, and stupid things had gone wrong with the house, like we have a stovetop, for the island in our kitchen. So when we bought our house in Maryland, it happened to come with a Viking stovetop range. So it's like one of those really pricey, high-end stovetops. Well, the problem is that the thing's like 20 years old.
Right.
So something went wrong with it. We had to pick something out online. We couldn't be there. So that's the kind of stuff, like when things went wrong, or we were doing, like we had some work, like I had my gutters replaced just because they needed to be replaced. Never saw them until we pulled up in July. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I had to rely on pictures and the word of my tenant and other people that were around. So, and everybody was trustworthy. It's still when you're a homeowner.
It's your stuff.
It's your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's what I think was so big for us when we got home. I still look back and go, all the things that I was afraid of happening, like big stuff happening, we really dodged all those bullets.
Oh, you totally did.
The RV lasted, did what it needed to do. The house held up the way that it needed to.
Right.
There was nothing, dire.
Yeah, no, I thought it was amazing. Even like, because obviously you and I talk all the time, so I remember when you're kind of telling me with like the condition of the house, I'm like, man, because I'm in real estate, as you know, and I can tell you horror stories. Oh my gosh, my tenants just destroyed my house.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? All sorts of stuff. So it's amazing that that didn't happen, and nothing major happened.
Nothing major happened, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
So one last thing I want to talk about, and this will be somewhat entertaining. So historically, you as a homeowner, not that I don't think neglect is the word to use, but kind of like it's never really been in your mindset to be, you didn't
handle my house.
Handle it not as much as like I would, because I might be a little bit obsessed with some things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus I'm in real estate and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's like, certain things around the house you didn't really focus in on.
Yes.
Which is funny. Now you're home from this RV trip.
I'm insane.
I'm excited to go down there for the holidays, because it's like, every time I talk to you, you're telling me about, hey, I did this, I did that, I did this. We used to talk like 3 years ago, and I'd have to explain to you how to use a freaking handsaw.
Yes. So stupid. This is how you use a screwdriver.
Right. Let me send you a video. You'll be okay.
Well, and I used to do work with Dad.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
I was always like, I'm amazed at how just like illiterate you were on like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're home from this RV trip, and it's like you've rebuilt the house all by yourself.
Yeah.
What's going on? Was it because of the RV trip, or what's happening there?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely the RV trip. I don't want to wax philosophical, but it's being on the road my relationship to my time changed. I don't know how to explain it. There's something about being on the road and like, you know, when we're at home, there's so many things you can do to entertain yourself. You know, like entertain, like something to do to take up your time, whether it's
play a video game, I'll watch the TV,
or leisure or work, you know, or anything. Just like I need to go shopping to get shoes for the kids. You know, like everything on the RV ended up being so much more difficult. You know, like just to find a post office. You know what I mean? Like basic stuff. Yeah. You know, so we were constantly having to think about like, where are we? Where do we need to go? We got to search for this. So everything was more complex. I don't know if it was just appreciating my time more and then utilizing my time in different ways. And then the RV, like I had to be handy. I had to.
No, good point. If something broke down, it's not like you'd say, I'll do it tomorrow. I mean, it's like, hey, you know, you got to fix it.
Yeah, or I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And who am I going to go to? Right. Who am I going to trust? And how, they're like, oh yeah, I called one place one time because I was really nervous about something. I can't remember what it was. And they said, oh yeah, well, we wouldn't be able to get to it for like 3 or 4 days. Right. I'm like, we got to hit the road like in 2 days. Like, I need you to do it now. Right. So I was forced to go on YouTube, Facebook groups, and I know I've talked about this in past videos, but
YouTube is the savior.
It's the best. Yeah. There's so much information online that nobody has an excuse for anything ever, including myself, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done an oil change on my snowblower just by YouTube.
Yeah, you just go on YouTube. Yeah. So get home, get into my house. I have a new appreciation of being on, you know, back in something that's not moving. You know, like this is staying here. Our yard is staying here. Everything's staying here. So now I can kind of do stuff to it. But I start seeing things like, because I was looking at my RV this way, and then I get back in the house and I'm like, oh, I could do that. I could probably go on YouTube and figure out how to do that. I want to do that. I want to move that to that. I want to do this. I want to do that. So my brain now is going nonstop. It's like the landscape or the house. And my wife is loving it.
Oh, I bet.
I mean,
she's like, I've been asking him to do that for 5 years.
Or she just totally gave up on it.
Right.
Well, because I was the type of guy, I became the type of guy that was like, well, I'll call somebody to do that because I don't want to waste my time doing it. I'd rather spend money.
No, I totally understand.
But now it's like an arts and crafts project for me. You know what I mean? Like now it's more interesting and more fun, and you know, like I'm totally getting into it. So, but it's totally the trip. Like it's absolutely the trip, and it's
kind of change your mindset. Like, I gotta do this. And
yes.
Now you.
Well, I want to do this. Yeah, the RV was I gotta.
Right.
The house is I wanna.
Right.
And now I bought a chainsaw. I wouldn't buy a chainsaw because I thought I was going to cut my leg off.
Yeah, don't cut your leg off.
I probably still could. Knock on wood.
Next video will be after his leg's cut off.
Yeah, when I have one leg.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood too. Don't let that happen.
Hop along, Kelly.
Okay. That's funny. All right. Any last words on the trip?
No.
After this, you know, I might still have you on the podcast here and there, but we can't talk about the RV trip anymore.
Yeah, it's done. We can't talk about it.
It's over. It's old news.
It's old hat.
Yeah.
No, the only last I would do it again.
That's a good one. Would you do it again? Would your kids do it again, you think? Hell no.
My oldest would do it again.
Yeah.
Gabriel, absolutely. My youngest is still kind of like, he missed his friends so much he wanted to be back home. But they both appreciate it, so I mean,
they know it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
How's Grace on it and all this? How's the wife?
Oh, she didn't want to come off the road.
She didn't. Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody's watching this that really knows Grace, she did not want to come home. She wanted to stay on the road.
Want to stay. I was just gonna say I could actually see that. Like I could see myself coming back, and after about a month or so, just kind of being like, I want to get the hell out of here.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that. I don't want to do the work to get the RV ready. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to pack it up. But if it was ready to go, like if I could just jump in it right now and just take a drive to, you know, some other state for a weekend or something, sure. Yeah. And we'll do that like next spring when the weather turns back.
There you go. Next summer when you come up here with the RV, we'll
bob around again.
Yeah. It sounds like fun. Yeah. All right, man. Glad you came on again, man.
It's my pleasure.
Man, I love the whole idea of you being on that trip. It's just so awesome.
Yeah.
So hey guys, if you have any questions about the trip, if you have any questions about real estate, let us know. Comment below. Send us messages. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, if you're going to make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.